Hello everyone, how are we all doing? It's been a while. Well, my name is Adorable. Today I have a topic I want to address. I know it's not too much out there, but it's regarding childhood wound. This topic is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I've seen a lot of things happening around this very topic. And also in my research, I came across another topic by Dr. Jamal Bryan where he was talking about, he titled it, "I'm Not a Child." And he backed it up with a scripture in Mark 9. So if you want to check that out, that should be something to consider. But today I will be addressing childhood wound. Okay, now, what is childhood wound? Childhood wounds are those experiences that we experience in our homes while we're growing up. And all of us come from different backgrounds, different beliefs. What are the effects? It affects children's learning, but it causes anxiety, it silences them. And these childhood wounds could be a scenario where there's domestic violence in the home and children witness it. And when they witness it, it makes them, they shut up because they can't interfere. They are kids. But when you see them when they grow up, it shows up. That little child shows up because it wasn't addressed when they were young. And it got me thinking, and I was like, no, this is a topic that I've been trying to talk about, and people don't see it as a problem. It is a big problem. It affects everything that we do in life. When we grow up, if we grow up in a home where there's no love, for instance, where there's no love in the home, so the children grow up not knowing what is love. When you grow up in an environment where there's always fight, the children seems to see it as something that is normal. Then they keep fighting, and when they get into adulthood, it affects them. And when children experience certain way of life, or in an abusive home where one of the parents have been abused. So now what happens is when the child's emotions dies. And when they kill their emotions, there's nothing you will do that will make them feel or have compassion for somebody, even if it's their partner when they grow up as an adult. And that child in them keep coming up. Because it wasn't addressed. They didn't make them to understand that it's not normal, that such lifestyle is not a normal lifestyle. But if you leave it and they grow up with it, they think it's normal. And when they get into adulthood, that's why some people bully some people, is the experience and the wound coming from home. Now, there are 3 effects of childhood wound. And number 1 it's called chronic illness in adulthood. Number 2, immune deficiency. Number 3, it confuses them with time and reality. And at the same time, they become dysfunctional. They have multiple disorders and inability to feel pain, which is when I talked about they seems not to have emotions anymore. I came across a child who witnessed their parents fighting all the time, and when I asked her, I noticed the way things were going with her, and she kept quiet. She had anxiety. She didn't know what to do, and nobody can actually interfere, and she wasn't talking. And when I spoke to her, she was like, "Auntie, listen, in life you have to kill your emotion. You have to kill it completely. You don't feel nothing. But if you care about things in this world, you're just going to die, or you're just going to end up harming yourself." I was like, no, That is not normal. We're human. You should have a bit of emotion. You should have compassion. But you shouldn't, not because of your upbringing, then you then felt that, oh, you should not feel anything. Even when you have a cut, you should not feel pain. No, I said, it's not normal. She said, yes, auntie, if you want to be like me, you just need to go and watch Vampire Diaries. And I was like, really? Vampire Diaries? Really? No. Those are not things, they're not educative, so I don't watch things like that. And horror things, they scare me to hell, so I don't bother. So I said, no, such things that you watch. And she said she enjoys when somebody's suffering, when somebody's going through pain, so that she enjoys it. And I was like, no, that is wrong. I said, that's totally wrong. But from her own point of view, it's because of the things she has experienced from her home, between the both parents. So they keep arguing and fighting. So the child went into her shell, and she just told herself, she got worried and worried, had anxiety and all that. And at some point she said to herself, you know what, I'm not going to bother. And the only way I can do this is to kill my emotion. If both of you want to kill yourselves, so be it. But for me, I'm moving on. So she started enjoying that lifestyle, and she thought it's normal. Until I started telling her no. I started counseling her, telling her no, that's not good. You need to speak out. You need to speak to somebody. You need help, so you can understand life in a different way. So she was like, okay, if you say so. But for me, I just think the best thing in life is to just kill your emotion. So that's another child. I'll speak about another child that I know, of a friend of mine. This child, the mother brought her up by herself. She's a single mom. And she was brought up, she's the only child. And I got in contact with this little girl. I realized that she has so much fears. And I was wondering, why does this child have so much fear? She cannot even play with her peers properly. She can't really express her. She can express herself. She's very intelligent, very bright child, but she has so much fears in her. So I was like, why is this child like this? The mother said to me, listen, it's me. I've put so much fear in this girl because she grew up. I brought her up by myself. The father wasn't there. And the father did this, did that. So because of that, I punished this child to make sure she's a better person. I'm like, no, but you've put so much fear and anxiety in this girl. That's not the right channel. You force her to do prayers. You force her to get into religious stuff, that she cannot even do normal things that other children, they do. I said, no, that's so wrong. You might be trying to put her in a right channel, but at the same time, that's just very wrong of you. And she was like, yes, I was right, that she would try and amend it, relax a little bit, or pull back a little bit in the way she's speaking to the child, and the way, and she'll try to reassure her, to tell her everything will be fine. Okay, now going to the main point of today's topic. Childhood wounds. How do they affect our adulthood? How do they affect us when we get married? How do they affect us, our daily lifestyle? What happens? Now, according to Dr. Jamal Bryan, he said, when he talked about a study in Mark 9, where he was talking about a child that did not speak. This child did not speak. He wasn't talking. He was quiet. And the child was brought to Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ asked the father, what's wrong with this child? He said, this child does not speak, and he hasn't spoken since childhood. So God said, don't worry, that the child is healed. But the thing behind it is, what he's saying is, what made that child to go silent? That child wasn't born with that. He grew up. When he was growing up, then it happened that the child went silent. What are those things that silences us as a child? What are those things that we carry? We carry this thing from our childhood, and when we become adults, it surfaces. That little child keep coming. Why do you keep quiet? And when you grow up as an adult and it comes up in your adulthood, what happened? Why was it not addressed when you were young? Those are the questions we need to find out. And what happens, and why do they lose their voice in the first place? When, you know, in our community, or we Africans, or we Nigerians, or even we the Igbos, you are not allowed to answer back. You're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to contribute as a child. So you carry a lot of burden, you carry a lot of pain with you, and those pains, you carry them with you to your adulthood. What happened to the psychosis of happenings that you keep carrying from different schools, from primary school to secondary school to university? Okay, let's put it in a different context. You carry it to your teenage life. You start bullying people. You become aggressive. You become very you have anxiety. You have memory loss sometimes. You become very, you have no compassion. Especially the word compassion is where I'm after. So then you carry from different schools till when you get married. And when you get married now, it reminds you once in a while, that little child comes up. It shows up. You become very aggressive. It takes you back because it wasn't addressed. And what happens when your partner reminds you of your childhood, more like when your parents used to fight and all that, and when you get into fight in a relationship, it reminds you of the past, then you react. Your reaction will now be based on what you have experienced in the past. You will not be able to address things on your own, or be able to see things in a different perspective to say, no, this is good, this is bad, I can't do this, I cannot do that. Or see, if you're a man, you will not be able to see a woman a different way. You will not see a woman as though they are meant to be loved, and you, a woman, is meant to respect you, and you're meant to reciprocate in that respect. So you start behaving a very funny way. You feel sometimes they just want to be alone. Sometimes they don't care. Sometimes they don't want to try to make effort for things to work out. And sometimes, you know, it affects generally their lifestyle generally. But for me, I just feel that the main topic of today is that instead of allowing children to feel or to go through childhood wounds when they grow up that will affect their adulthood, it's better to address it when they are young. If it means to have a break, if it means to have a gap in between, if it means to stop it when they were still young, because when a child is still young, you can correct issues. But when they become an adult, there's no way. You can't change an adult. But it's only by the grace of God that an adult can change. If you're coming from a home where, let's say, somebody, your father can do whatever he likes, then it gives room for you to behave anyhow you want, because your father used to behave that way. And looking back in the days, women used to take a lot of things. They used to accept it. Everything is acceptable. But these days, women, they don't seem to have the amount of patience that our parents had. So, and you need to see life in a different way, that we are, especially those of us that are in this part of the world. You know, people judge us too much. People expect too much from you. And when you as a woman is not going the same way or in a norm of what has happened in the past, then they either give you names or call you names. But for me, I would rather address issues or stop something that I know that is going to be a problem for my child in the future, and stop it now. As they grow up, they become adults. The little child keep on coming up, and it becomes a problem in their life. And as they marry and have children, their children will experience the carry along. But if you address it in the beginning. Try to stop it. Make children not to see things. Make children not to know things. And if they have, you try to change it when there is time, regardless of what the society thinks, regardless of what anybody thinks. It's about you, it's about your family, it's about your children. If your children are wayward tomorrow, everybody will blame you. But if your children are not wayward tomorrow, then everybody will take glory. But if anything goes wrong, you will be blamed. It has medically proven that stress can cause brain sustained injuries in children, and they grow up with it. It will affect their learning. It will affect everything that they do. They will be laid back just because of what they've experienced. And when they grow up as an adult, you still see those signs. It's still there. It hasn't gone. So the only thing we can do, even though we are adults right now, is to ask God to help us. And if there's a way you can change it now, if you have kids, is to change it now. Because when they grow up to become an adult, they carry those burdens, they carry those pain. I don't know if I'm communicating with somebody. Then again. So to finalize my topic of childhood wound, I would like us to reflect on this. I would like us to, think about it. If there's a way you can control it in your homes, if there's a way you can stop the children from suffering, if there's a way we can, make it not to, if there's a way we can be cautious of this, that would be great. And if they have experienced it, all you need to do is to get them help that they need so they can see life differently, not carrying pain, not carrying burden, not carrying hate, not carrying things that are not necessary, or see life in a different way. So I just feel I should share this. I don't know about you. If you have your own view, you can share. It's just a free thought. So so you might have your own opinion. You can drop it on the comments and we can all discuss it. We're mothers. So if there's any way or anything that will help or motivate all of us, then why not share it? But today is a good day. I just feel I should share it, and I'll be doing more videos where I'll be talking about different topics, sometimes not necessarily legal. I'm not a psychologist. I have a legal background, but I'll be talking about morals of life and things that I feel that affect us that we don't talk about, the things that are hidden, things. There's a sensitive topic I'm going to talk about next time. People don't pay attention to it. Put in people's mind when I talk about it, or if I share it with people, then we can all think about it. So see you next time. The same place, same time. Thank you. I'll be doing this every week. So every week we'll have a topic. If you know a topic I should talk about, then let me know and we will address it. Thank you for watching and have a nice time. Bye.